Item 7, discussion and possible action regarding the tentative adoption of the town's Carefree budget for fiscal year 2013-14 and call for a special meeting and public hearing thereon. Mr. Neese.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. This budget before you maintains the town's fiscally conservative approach, and that's as a result of the stewardship of this council as well as past council or councils. This is validated by our pay-as-you-go, no-debt philosophy. The town doesn't have any obligated debt. We pay as you go. We build up our reserves, and then we spend to do capital investments, such as our street projects and many other surrounding communities, many communities that some of our residents moved from. They pass bonds, which are supported by a secondary property tax, to do street projects, for example. Last year, we did an investment of $1 million in our streets. We took a portion of that, as Jim has articulated, out of our reserves. We're investing in our largest asset, our streets. We have healthy reserves. I don't know if many residents understand that, but we have the largest per capita reserves within the state of Arizona. Something to be proud about. That's something that I think most communities around us can't say. So we are conservative, and we continue that course. We look at finding grants and partnerships. This is validated. Just look at the past 2 to 3 years, what we have accomplished. I don't know if many of our residents know, but let me go through a little bit of a list of what we have accomplished through grants and partnerships, that if we did not budget in our budget for these things, we wouldn't be able to spend that money. We wouldn't be able to get these grants. We wouldn't be able to do these projects. Listen to these projects. Emergency radios. We invested $92,000. We got a grant, $92,000, to put 800 megahertz radios within our fire truck and on our firefighters. That allows them to communicate regionally to the other agencies, our other first responders. It's a seamless process now, something we didn't have before. No money out of anybody's pocket. We had a budget for that. We had to put that within the budget. If we didn't put it in the budget, we wouldn't have gotten it. A street sweeper. Everybody loves a street sweeper. I get calls all the time. When is it coming down my street? They love it. It's $250,000. We got that money because we budgeted for it and we applied for the grant. Ask and you shall receive. Carefree gardens. What a wonderful asset that we have in the gardens. People come here and they visit the gardens. They come from Scottsdale, they come from out of state, and they're visiting gardens. We have seen it over the last couple of years, and it's growing. And Mr. Wodoliak wants to donate more to our gardens. It's a signature element. That out there, that investment, those specimens, $1 million. The town didn't spend anything. It's $1 million donation. Ask and you shall receive. Town Hall. We purchased that building. Eventually, this space and the court offices will move over there. But that was one of the first buildings built in Carefree. One of the first buildings. You think it was energy efficient? No. Guess what? We got a grant. Over $120,000. We upgraded the windows. We upgraded the HVAC. We have a 50% savings on the energy costs as a result of that. Guess what? No money out of the citizens' pocket. In the near term, we're working with Cave Creek and the Maricopa Association of Governments. We get $3 million invested in our communities to put in bike lanes. We get thousands of people riding their bikes through Carefree each year. These people are coming through, riding down our streets, and there's no bike lane dedicated on the side of the roads. We know the industry standard is to put those bike lanes there. And so we have to do it. We have applied for a grant. We got a budget for that. In a future fiscal year, there'll be a budget line item there. So you have to budget for these things in order to have these things funded throughout the fiscal year. That's what we're required on the public sector. That's what we're doing with these capital improvements. This budget also looks at maintaining the core services in Carefree. The heartbeat of the organization is the staff. The staff is the one that picks up the phone on a daily basis. For example, this past fall, there was an issue with hunting in Carefree. We got dozens of citizens calling us, demanding that as a result of a new state law that changed our ability to exclude bow hunting within the town, You got to stop them. They're walking across my private property. We got an MCSO involved, and we try to educate the residents on the new state law and why we can't have an impact. And staff found a way to have an impact. We closed off that bow hunting in Carefree. And guess what? We are going to be used as an example by other communities of how to do it right. If staff wasn't there to pick up the phone, that wouldn't have happened. Staff's there to deal with building safety issues, dealing with planning and zoning issues. And even if there's not a home built, there's homes being remodeled. There's always reinvestment in the community. You need staff there on a daily basis. People are selling their homes. There's questions from realtors coming in. That's the important role. That's what adds to the property values in Carefree. That's what makes Carefree a unique place, is enforcing our unique sets of rules that add to the dimension, the quality of life that we enjoy, the desert environment, who we are. We get many calls after a storm event, after an accident. Our public works crew is there after hours cleaning things up. They're there on a daily basis maintaining our assets. They're an important part. There's 4 people on that crew. We're a small organization, 14 people. Lowest staff per capita in the state. So we have a lot to be proud of our core staff and our core services, and we're providing it at the lowest cost to our citizens. We're also looking at significantly investing in our streets. Once again, I talked about a $1 million investment last year. We're a victim of our own success here. Now, it was funny, after we did the project, there were people coming in, dozens, on a weekly basis saying, God, the streets look great. When you get into my neighborhood, I want my cracks sealed. I want that vibe open sealed. Streets look great. Let's keep on doing that. People were demanding their streets to be done. We got approximately 50% of the streets done last year. We're looking at approximately 50%, the other half being done. There are going to be some streets that will not be done. We're not going to be able to do all the streets at once. But approximately $1.1 million. How do we pay for it? We don't have a secondary property tax. We're not going to assume additional debt. Pay as you go. We have the reserves. The reserves are there for a purpose. We're investing in our community. We're investing in the people. That's what we do. The budget is fiscally conservative. It's important tonight to emphasize that the budget does not authorize any of the capital expenses that were alluded to earlier. The splash pad, the shade structure over the amphitheater. As typical of any public process, such expenditure will be taken to the council and discussed, vetted from A to Z. How does it get paid for? Who you're partnering with? What's the scope of the work? Why are we doing it? All these questions will be answered along the way. They're vetted in the public process. The mayor alluded to a meeting, a workshop, a public workshop, May 21st. That's the beginning of the process. That doesn't mean we're going to do any of these. A huge step is how we're going to get these funds and contacting our partners, our corporate partners, individual donors. There's the ability to do it. And if we don't ask, we don't get. So that's what we're trying to do here.
Mr. Neese or Mr. Keene, just for the record, what is the bottom line number that we're approving tonight?
Essentially, $6.6 million.
What we're approving tonight is a total bottom line of $6,607,201.
Expenditures, not money that we absolutely will spend.
That's correct.
Is that correct?
If it's not in the budget, you can't spend it if it got donated, so it's in there.
But
Right.
putting 6.6 million doesn't mean we're going to spend 6.6 million.
Right, and if
Okay.
you'll
Well,
notice, yeah,
Okay, good enough.
the year end, we're not going to spend $6.4 million that we budgeted last year, and we never do.
The whole concept of the budget is, if the money comes in, if the people want to do it, can we do it? And all this says is, if everybody else wants it, if there's money available to do it, if we think it's prudent to spend it, we can. If it's not in the budget, if God himself came down and gave us the money, we couldn't do it. So I just want everyone to get that, because some of the rhetoric I'm hearing is fear of, we're going to go out and spend all this money. And we're about as conservative as we get. Anyone here like debt? No. You know, so we are watching it. So just don't think we're not watching it. That's all. That's my comment.